Another episode of Claris Talk AI. We have two very special guests today, Johan Hedman and Joris Aarts, who run the EnagageU conference in Europe. So we'll talk about that. So welcome to the show. I think I've had one of you on before. Anyway, this is good. No, we've actually done this a few times in different podcasts I've had over the years, as I can remember. Well, it's good to see you both.
Yeah, likewise.
So the conference is coming up November 17th to 19th in Malmö, Sweden.
Cool.
Tell me a little bit about it. What are your goals? Where is it going to be?
So at the conference, we're really happy to have a conference where we can see so many people that already signed up right now. We are almost at 150 already, and we are kind of aiming to get at 250 before we get started on the 17th.
Wow.
But like what you said in Malmö here, it's going to be going back to the real old roots of a DevCon, where we have the hotel, we have the conference, we have the dinners, we have everything on the same place. So everyone will be together throughout the entire conference. So we look forward to sharing a lot of knowledge and socializing throughout the conference.
That's great. I think the best DevCons I can think of are when we did it at the Marriott in Phoenix. Because it was in one spot, you couldn't really leave. Well, Malmö, you're going to be in the middle of the city. And so there was great socialization, except that it was 106 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning. So that was that was a thing.
Yeah,
It's just what we are missing this year. It's the lazy river, but that's maybe.
Yeah.
We don't have a lazy river at the hotel. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Well,
we had
November.
a lazy river in Texas as well. At I think it was where was that? San Antonio.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun for sure. Playing hooky for a session and going float around the pool for a little while. So I love that it's at one hotel. I think you guys have done a phenomenal job with the conference the few years I've been able to attend it since I've lived here. You really have captured the DevCon spirit of having it in one place. You do a phenomenal job with all of the social stuff. Both of you guys have significant staff, so it's extremely well run. So I don't know, I'm talking about all the things I love about it and how excited I am. So tell me about, I think you've said something about expanding the reach, because you've been focusing on what, mostly Western Europe, Northern Europe, and that's changing?
Yes. So we noticed that the UK, Germany was a bit underrepresented, and this year we really focused on that. So we have been working closely together with FileMaker magazine in Germany. And so since last week, there's an article published about EnagageU. We are featured on their website as well. So they're actively helping us getting more people from Germany to the conference, and it's working out. Same thing with UK. We're actively working with UK partners to spread the word about EnagageU. And I'm very pleased to announce that we will have a delegation of Winsoft this year and people from Eastern Europe, from Turkey. So Chabitas will be presented. It's a partner in Turkey, and we will have one speaker, Osman, how to eat your yogurt about this.
Interesting. That'll be fun to attend. So Winsoft, for those people in the US who might not know, they're kind of the representatives of Claris for a lot of the things, partner relations and purchases of licenses and things like that in Europe. And actually throughout really a lot of the region, I think Asia. Do you know what they represent over here?
So what I know is that they are also responsible for translating Claris to Arab. So people in the Middle East can also use Claris products. Yeah.
I think it's actually a significant part of Asia, and I think maybe all of Africa they also represent. India, I'm not sure. Anyway, but huge reach. So they're a huge part of the Claris family. So I want to talk about the Claris people who are going to be there. Obviously, the Engage conference in Texas, at the Apple HQ, they can have everybody because it's, close by. But you've got some big names this year, yeah?
Yeah, we certainly are really, really happy to have Brad Freitag coming over. First time in many years he's traveling outside of US. So he's going to be attending and be a part of the opening session. And we just, like a week ago, was been called out by Claris that they will also send Andrew LeCates. So they will be hosting the opening session, and hopefully we'll be telling some stories of where we are going to head with the Claris platform in the future.
That's exciting. Brad's a very big name, and also he's like 6'4" or 2 meters for those of you who live in civilized parts of the world.
Yeah.
Andy, I go back for so long. I love him so much. Yeah, he's great.
One of the big things about the people that we are getting to be a part of Engage from Claris is that we want them to be on site. We want them to be there. We want them to socialize. And we've been having really, really good success with that, because people actually feel that they get first-hand connection with these people if they get a chance to talk to them face to face. And it's working really good for the last 2 years we've been working like this. And we really hope to have that going on in the future as well.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I've actually been at some DevCon conferences where the president at the time, Dominique or Brad, I think it was maybe mostly Dominique, were there for like the first day and then they were gone. Although I actually did get to talk to Dominique a bunch of times too. So there's a few more people from Claris. Who else is going to be there?
Yeah, don't forget, we will have Wesley Powell, product manager for Claris Studio. So it will be great, getting some updates, news. He will lead a technical session and he will be part of the panel discussion.
We're going to come back to Wesley in a minute. Yeah.
Okay. And actually, Johan, it's the second time that we are blessed by the visit of Brad Freitag. So he was there on the first edition in Malmö as well. So
I remember that.
We're very pleased with the delegations we get from Claris.
Yep. And then I think also, who else do we have?
We will have Wallis. Douglas Wallis will be there, technical lead. And then we will also have the partner manager for EMEA, David Loeb.
Yep.
So David, Douglas, and some other of the Claris people will probably book up the room that we specialize only for Claris people to book, so that they can meet up with anyone who like to have a one-on-one with them and speak about what they need or what I help to do or working to do for their business.
Yeah.
So it will be a good chance for anyone.
Yeah, for sure. I've been working with David a lot this last couple of weeks because I'm actually now officially a Claris partner again as Navarre Training. So I've kind of been, sort of solo and working as a rep of Direct Impact and kind of being part of their partner program. But now I'm on my own again, which is great. All focused on training. So let's see. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is, and I haven't been excited about it in a long time, is Claris Studio. So Joris, I think we have, you presented an amazing session on it, and I know we're going to have a few sessions this year on it. Talk a little bit about those. We've got Rob, we've got Ian, who else? Oh, that's actually AI for Ian. We'll talk about it in a minute, but talk about what Rob's going to want to be doing.
I'm not sure, Rob. If you're referencing Robert Halsey, he won't be at EnagageU.
Robert Halsey.
Rob Speakman here.
How did I forget?
Rob Speakman from We Know Data. He will give a very good introduction of what you can start using in a studio to get your data from different data sources, and how you can get your coworkers to get rid of Excel and start using Studio instead.
Yeah.
So it will be the first step into the studio world that I think a lot of people need as an eye opener.
I'll give a little bit of a preview. Studio has really been kind of lacking in features, but I think we're going to see a major announcement that completely goes away with an upcoming release. Which is why I referenced a minute ago that I'm actually really excited about it again. A lot of the things I was really hoping that it would become, it is becoming. So that makes me really happy. And that's going to be the focus of the panel that I'm going to be moderating as well. So we'll actually be talking about Studio and its change. So I'm very excited about that. So let's talk AI. What are the AI focuses of the conference going to be? Don't both speak at once.
You comment on that?
Okay, yeah. So we have a really good speaker about AI, Ian Jempson. He's always so good of presenting AI in a way so that everyone will be able to understand. So we are very fortunate to have his own speaker. Of course, we won't really know what he's going to be speaking about besides it's going to be AI, because everything changes every quarter, more or less.
That's true.
But then we also have other people who's going to be speaking. We have from Bitbook, we have Franco, who's going to be speaking about AI. And then there will be other sessions as well. That are going to be touching AI in different matters. So there will be, of course, be a lot of talks about AI in the corridors in between the different sessions.
Yeah, Jonathan uses AI for vectorizing PDF content and creating back to PDF content. And Chris Moyer will also be, Chris and Heidi will be there on reflecting on current and future AI directions.
So we actually had maybe both of them on the podcast before. Ian and Chris and I got to really nerd out about it in a previous episode of this podcast. And I'll actually be doing a class on AI. So I'm gonna be focusing just on the practical part of it, right? How to actually integrate it into your solution, specifically semantic search and the new script steps that came with FileMaker 2024 and calculations. So there will be like a file with that. And that's also going to be available as a Zoom class. So even if you're not at the conference, you'll be able to join that one via Zoom. And that's going to be on the 17th of November. Not to push my own stuff too much, but I'm really glad. I love teaching, as you guys well know. And so I'm really happy to be also teaching on the AI stuff as well now. So
we're very happy to have you there, Matt. And we changed the way the first day is actually Spain, because the 2 years before we had a partner day where we met only with partners, and we had Claris speak to only partners. But both we and Claris would rather speak to everyone about where they want to go and what they like to share. So instead of having a partner day, we changed that into having a pre-conference training day. So besides Matt here doing a really good way of kind of presenting about AI and how you do integrations, we will also have Alexis Allen speak about how you can use UX and UI in your solutions. So you will have an option here to pick either of the two pre-conference training here to learn a bit more about how you can use different techniques in a platform.
Yes, both classes are filling up nicely. You can choose to follow the course on site, but you can also register for online participation.
Great. Alexis is making a huge world tour right now at conferences. She's at the Australia conference that's happening now. She's going to go to the Japan conference. She's going to go to all of the European conferences. She's really getting those air miles in. And she's always amazing. Her design chops are phenomenal. We had her on the podcast along with Matt Odell really recently. So I'm really curious. 250 people is a really significant goal for this year, and I know that you're aiming actually even bigger than that. What are your goals for next year and 10 years after that, or however far you're planning?
Well, we are basically having fun doing this, Johan, and our goal is to unite the European community. Because I personally have been traveling before the pandemic to all these local conferences, the French, the Dutch, etc. I like it much better this way, and so that was a foundation of EnagageU. So we are very glad that this is working out, and in terms of growth, it will be good if we became the European standard, which is now adopted by Claris more or less, with a significant delegation they are sending. So we are ready to host 300 people if needed this year, but that will probably be the goal.
Are you aiming even bigger, 400 or 500 for coming years? I learned something. I learned an interesting fact recently, actually talking to David at Claris. There's more, the number of partners in Europe is higher than the number of partners in the US. I would never have guessed that to be true, but that's what he said.
There are definitely some countries with a lot of partners. UK and Germany are really big. So they probably are pitting off a lot of those people that you're talking about partners here. But yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of history of a lot of users using Claris platform or FileMaker for a very long time.
But there's the language, of course. So we have chosen for an English spoken conference, which excludes some potential participants unless we provide translations.
Yeah, I'm trying to think for the language stuff. Well, Rome FileMaker Week, that's happening in October. That used to be in both Italian and English, and they had translators. It was really cool. They're switching to just English for that. There's a conference in Spain, I think, that's actually in Spanish. Do I recall that correctly? I think there's one coming in France as well.
Yeah. It was one in French, and the Spanish one also took place earlier, but they are localized, so they are only in the local language. I don't say that's anything bad with that. We really need to still meet up and talk to people. But we have Claris in our back here saying that they want us to continue work on this and make it to the European conference. And then that's what we are hoping for, to have everyone to meet up, because I think that's the best part about this community, having a chance to share and socialize and see where everyone else is, because we have the same kind of day. We do the same kind of things. So being able to share your inner thoughts about different things or problems, I mean, there's no better place than to meet up in a conference.
Oh, I so agree. I agree. Yeah. Let's see. What are the conferences they have in Europe? So the .fmp conference, really sadly, was the last one, was this last several months ago. But I think you said something about a new conference starting up in Vienna, yes?
Correct, yeah. So there is a German conference taking place as well. It's only German speaking as well. I think it's in Koblenz this year. But yes, so 72 Solutions are going to host a conference at the same dates, almost like they usually .fmp take place, but in Vienna instead. So they've just started to kind of pick up the thread of where Egbert from .fmp kind of closed down, which is really sad because we love that conference. It was superb. But I know everything has to come to an end sometimes, and now we just have to make sure Egbert comes to our conference instead to share his knowledge. So Vienna in June 2025 is an unconference conference.
Unconference conference, okay. Vienna is one of my favorite cities in the world because it's the classical music capital of the world, really. So many concerts there, and a big classical music nerd. So yeah, I totally love that. I always try to go see the symphony and the Golden Hall and operas and whatnot. So gosh, I'm not sure what else is on the agenda. Those are all the things I really wanted to talk about, but I'm sure there's a ton of stuff we can keep going into. What else is on your mind? What else is exciting right now?
Yeah, so with everyone who's listening and looking here, please go ahead and go to EnagageU.eu to read more about the hotel, the conference, all the speakers, and then hopefully also sign up so we can meet up in November.
That would be great. What about your companies? I'm curious because you guys, maybe people don't know, you guys both have different companies. You're not part of the same. I'm still waiting for the day that you merge. But what are your focuses on and the projects that you guys are doing?
Okay, ClickWorks, we are 15 people, and we are focusing on larger tailor-made products. So we don't have verticals. We love listening to customers and growing with them and being a long-term partner. But we are focusing at like medium-sized and corporate customers. So we have some challenging projects, and that's what we love to do.
You listen to your customers? That's weird. I've never heard of that approach. Obviously a great idea and something to focus on.
Yeah, good to know is that Joris and ClickWorks are located in Belgium, in Antwerp. And my company, Speakman, we're located up in Sweden, and we have 3 offices in Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö. We are right now 23, so we are probably about the bigger ones that are platinum partners in Europe, I would say. And we have 2 legs, so to speak, that we stand on. So we do have vertical market products. We have 3 or 4, I don't know exact, that we have focused on specific business where we think they will be really good at. And then we do the same thing on the other leg, like what Joris are doing. We are trying to find customers for a long-term collaboration where we are trying to understand their needs and build a tailor-made solution that will work for them for a long time going forward. And then like what you are doing, like we are trying to teach them a little bit about what you can teach them with AI so that we also get a chance to do a little project with them with AI. But I can see that more and more of our clients right now are kind of getting into the idea of maybe starting a little project to get an awareness of what you can do. So it's a very exciting time right now. I can definitely see people's head are starting to move around a little bit in that area. And I'm really curious to get into more projects like that.
You know, I have to say there's the feel with some parts of the community are that FileMaker's kind of waning. but your conference is growing, your companies are growing. This is
Yeah.
a very good time to be a FileMaker developer after almost
Yeah.
4 decades.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the biggest problem for any partner in Europe, I'd say. Anyone that I speak to need to have more developers. And then
Yeah.
we have a very strong relationship with ClickWorks, but I'm really happy that we have. So we are helping out each other out when needed. But then, of course, there are a lot of consultants throughout Europe that are helping each other out in some different ways. So I feel like we have an ecosystem that are very good of helping each other out, reaching out and speaking to each other. And then what isn't a better way to meet up and get to know new people than in a conference? So that's also another reason why to attend EnagageU.
Yeah, I can say that the companies that invest in FileMaker keep investing. So we have still a lot of work in our backlog. We're trying to attract new developers. Mostly we are educating them or teaching them ourselves, because it's very hard to find FileMaker developers, of course. But yeah, growth is an issue. We have more demands, and I hear the same from Johan. We had a record year with ClickWorks this year, and we're not planning to stop. So companies really believe in FileMaker as a product, and we get even newer people attracted. Also, we have no problem hiring younger people. So people in their 20s, 30s, they still fall in love with FileMaker.
Yes. Yeah, when you see the power of what you can do and how quickly you can deliver, it's hit such a sweet spot. Well, we don't need to keep going on about it because we all know kind of where it fits. But it is exciting that people who are young are finding the same things that we found about it when we were young. Because I sure am not
like 2 years ago or so, we were young.
I still feel young, but I look in the mirror and I see evidence to the contrary. It's so great to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right.